Everyone's story is different. Part of my story was being alienated from my daughter. My name's Adrielle. I'm 34 years old. In 2021, I had to split from my ex. He wouldn't let me access my daughter, and I had to take my older 2 children with me. He and I came to an amicable agreement that she would be with me weekends, holidays, and summers. She would be with him during the school year. I didn't like being separated from my daughter. I didn't like that he called the shots on the agreement, but I couldn't afford a custody battle. At that point in time, I was just broken up from him, breaking away from a codependent lifestyle, learning how to be independent again financially. I had to deal with the cards that were dealt. I had already been alienated from my daughter by my ex. Well, that person was me, and I didn't expect that to happen. I don't think anyone would wish to be in that situation, but I was, and I had a lot of healing to do. Parental alienation isn't never seeing your child again. That brainwashes the child that one parent is better than the other. And it slowly over time works itself out that one child truly believes another parent is better than the other. I didn't even have to look up the definition to understand that because I've lived through it. But when I looked up the definition, my jaw dropped. Because again, parental alienation is a theory that describes a parent manipulating their child to have a negative view of the other parent. This can involve speaking negatively about the other parent, misusing legal or social services, or extreme inflexibility with parenting plans. The goal is to undermine or destroy the child's relationship with the targeted parent. In my case, those 6 months I wasn't able to see my daughter. He was reading her books about children whose mother died. Every night before bed, he would buy all these books and he would read them to her about children whose mothers died. He found all these independent books, banned books, and I asked her why she would ask that, and she said, well, Dad keeps reading me books every night about some character, I don't remember the name, and their mom died. The mental gymnastics I went through and that he put me and my child through were sick, demented, and twisted. Now my daughter's older, she's 10. They worried about their little sister while she was gone because my older 2 children saw the abuse I went through living with my ex. The shouting, the yelling, the slamming, the degrading. And I feel so horrible, but they asked me why I'm not going to court, That's right, my 11-year-old son kept telling me to go to court. I couldn't afford it. It was thousands and thousands of dollars to take my ex to custody court in Pennsylvania. He was making me jump through loops I gave up back in October of 2021, and that was when I had to leave his house. Domestic violence evolves in patterns, steps, layers. There was a guy I used to talk to on the phone named Doug who said that I'm showing all the signs of domestic abuse, works in mental health. And he told me the next step is physical abuse. So I was in a situation where I needed to get out immediately, and I stayed with my mom until I found a place for rent, and I did. I rented. Well, now let's fast forward because it's 2025, 4 years almost. It's been 3.5 years have gone by, but I'm still being alienated, and my daughter's older now. She's speaking for herself, making decisions for herself, but he's still manipulating her. He's got her under his thumb, where if anything that doesn't go her way, she will lash out, throw a tantrum, and call Dad to come to her rescue. Into, oh, Mom and sister are the enemy if we enforce rules in our house. Say I'm in the shower, and this has never happened before, but let's just give a hypothetical situation. Pretend I'm in the shower, and my youngest daughter is playing music on the stereo really, really loud, and it's late at night, and my middle daughter enforces the rules. Oh, no, we can't have loud music past 7 p.m. You have to turn the volume down to number 8. My daughter will feel personally attacked because she's manipulated and brainwashed by my ex that if something doesn't go her way, to call him that something awful is happening. The other day, she threatened to call the police over something absolutely ridiculous. I can't even remember what it was. Maybe something like she didn't have a tree. I can't remember what it was. It was on my live stream, and she threatened to call the police over something that didn't go her way because my ex is causing all this behavior. She speaks really disrespectfully to me and her brother and sister. She flips them off. She tells them to shut up. She cusses them out. And I hate to say it, but children mirror how their parents treat them. They've never flipped me off. They've never cussed their friends out their siblings' friends out when they're visiting. They've never displayed behavior that my youngest daughter displays, and I really hope that doesn't mean that she's mirroring behavior from her father's house. But that's all up for speculation. I digress. Something happened tonight, and I went into a very philosophical, deep, vulnerable moment. This is an example of parental alienation. I was trying to put a cake together. Everyone was happy, and my daughter wanted to use the knife to cut the strawberries, and I said, no, you can cut the cake or the bananas with a butter knife. I have to use the paring knife, and you're too little to use the paring knife. You're too little. She has little hands. She could have rinsed the blueberries. She could have started putting the cake in the cake bowl. But because my ex has brainwashed her to believe that she is threatened if things don't go her way, if she's told no, she calls him on the phone. At this point, I don't have peace while my ex is weaponizing my daughter and using her against me to cause me emotional turmoil. He caused me so much mental anguish while I was living with him for close to 10 years. And now he knows the only way he can get at me is to destroy my peace when our daughter is here. And what he's doing is working. And I unfortunately don't know how to make everything click, how to open up my daughter's eyes, because frankly, she's not here enough. She's with him the majority of the time. But because my ex wants to alienate her from me, he teaches her to say lies like, oh, I have summer school. He taught her to say that. Or, oh, I have an appointment. Or, oh, I have to do this to get her back to his house. It's very sickening. He even drove here over 100 miles to alienate her from me. But I digress. When I was just saying, no, you can't use this knife. You can do this, this, or this, or wait until I cut the strawberries and you can put the strawberries on the cake. She felt threatened. She felt that's an emergency. And he has her trained that your mom is the villain. Your mom is da-da-da-da-da. Call me if you need anything. And she does. And that's not right. That's not healthy. Healthy co-parents, healthy parents co-parenting do not do that. That's what an abuser does. That is not what healthy co-parenting looks like. Healthy co-parenting looks a little something like this. Daughter has to follow a rule. Mom's enforcing the rule. And that's that. Worst case scenario. Daughter wants to use a device at bedtime and mom says no, so she calls the dad and says, she's not letting me use the phone, pick me up. A healthy co-parenting relationship looks like this. Oh, no. When you're at mom's house, you have to follow mom's rules. That's a healthy co-parenting relationship. Not, okay, I'll pick you up and you can use your phone here. Not, okay, I'll pick you up and you can cut strawberries here. Not, okay, I'll pick you up and you can blow bubbles in the house here. You see what I'm saying? Because that's actually a thing that happened where she was blowing bubbles. I was outside. My middle daughter told her that she's not allowed to blow bubbles in the house. My daughter felt threatened. She felt it was an emergency, called her dad to pick her up, and he said he would. And he has her manipulated that this is abuse. This is abuse. So I'm a live streamer, and sometimes things don't go the way they are supposed to go as planned. I also am not a fake. I'm a very realistic person, relatable person. So if I'm live streaming and something doesn't go as planned, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to keep my live stream up because I'm not a fake. If you hide your vulnerable moments, if you hide things that are imperfect, that's just the only thing you're going to put out there is, oh, this image of perfection. And then that's going to make people feel like they're missing out, that they're doing something wrong. I'm not one of those people who fakes everything like everything's perfect. I decided to hang up the phone because I got really triggered because that's how he used to treat me when we lived together, and I don't have to tolerate that anymore. I'm not under his roof. And my middle daughter was downstairs, and she chose to help with the cake and be supportive because she saw how upset everything was for her sister and me. And then there were people who were saying, why would you talk about this with your 13-year-old there? Because my middle daughter, unfortunately, is experiencing the same thing I'm experiencing. Her little sister's showing behaviors that are not normal to us. And would you just keep your teenager in the dark of why their sister's acting that way? Or would you get into detail of what's going on? It's parental alienation. No matter which way you look at it. And you should respect mine.